Yep.
And it says we are live. Greetings and good evening, everyone. Welcome. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, all of those who are fathers by blood, by spirit, by mentorship, by example. Thank you. We salute you and we thank you. Looks like I'm freezing now. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. So today is so special to me. Hashtag Black Fathers Matter. Oh, let me go over here. Hashtag Black Fathers Matter. So many of you who know me personally know that when something is getting ready to go down, what do I say first? I say, now you know I'm Ted Clay's daughter, so you know a dose of truth is getting ready to come. So you might as well see how I am, who I am, and how I came to be. So meet my daddy, Ted Clay. Hey! Welcome, Daddy.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
You know this ain't my idea.
But you were agreeable. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share and start a watch party over on, let me see, so we can do this simultaneously and start. Okay, so thank you for agreeing to join.
Okay.
Um, First of all, do you want to say anything in particular welcoming the people?
No, no.
Just gonna answer questions?
I guess that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. All right then. So, first of all, I guess the first question I want to ask you is what oh, our cousin is on. Cousin Cynthia from California. She's saying
Oh,
happy Father's Day, Ted.
tell her I said hi and happy.
Well, when you say it, she can hear you.
Oh, I just said hi.
Well, you said tell her I said
Oh,
hi. You can
I'm
just say
sorry.
hi.
I'm sorry. Remember, I can't see nobody.
I can't see them either, but I just see the comments.
Oh, okay.
I told her that you were coming. So she said, tell him I said happy Father's Day. And I said, we're going to be on in 10 minutes. So come on in. She sent
Okay.
a lot of hearts and love.
Oh,
Okay. She says, hi, Ted back. So, what does being a father mean to you?
I, what I think it really means is being able to give that ultimate love. There's there are few things in life that can make you give everything of yourself, and being a father does that. You know, I have known of some fathers who are very selfish in in themselves. Everything's about them. Uh, my grandfather on my father's side was that way, which meant when my father raised my brother and I, he made sure that he was exactly opposite. Uh, and he showed me what you know, being a real father was all about. And that's just the way I've been. My kids have never, if they wanted me to be somewhere, I was there, you know, unless there was something just physically I couldn't. But I always tried to be there for them. I'm not saying I was always, I can't say I was always there, but I think I was when they needed me. Let's put it that way. That's when it was.
So it sounds like you really just hit on two major points. Number one is choice, because you know the saying that you are a product of your environment, which
Right,
is true.
right.
However, like you were expressing about grandpa, that you can choose to be different. You can choose whatever reality you want to create.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if to show you how my grandfather, your great grandfather was, if grandma cooked a piece of meat, grandpa would eat the meat and give the gravy to the kids, and he had 10. But
10?
also,
I thought it was 9.
now you see, you didn't. Aunt Beulah was older than my father, and she died when she was 18 years old. She had just graduated high school when she died.
Oh, okay. So I never knew her
No,
or
no,
knew of her. Yeah, okay.
no. And he was Papa was he was raised as a single child, and he kept that same mentality his entire life. Everything was about him. It even got so bad. I remember my Aunt Betty told me that on Fridays he'd get paid, and Grandma had to send the girls up to the tavern to get some money out of him before he spent it all up chasing women in the tavern. I mean, he was a character, you know.
Chasing hoochies and hooch, huh?
Yep.
And the other thing, really great point that you touched on was about communication. Because you said where you would think that you were there as long as they needed you to be. And so, whether you're a father, mother, or don't have any children at all, that's a real important key that you always have to communicate what it is that you need and what it is that you want.
Right.
Um, so that's something for everyone to keep in mind. And also, like I said, the power of choice, because if you want something different, then you have to do something different instead of allowing whatever happened in the past to be a roadblock to you.
Yeah, and I think part of that is you have to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, everybody everybody's not comfortable in their own skin, and when you're not comfortable in your own skin, then uh, you won't approach others comfortably. You know, I don't have no problem with communicating with anybody. You
No,
know,
you don't.
if if someone doesn't receive it well, that's not my problem because I'm comfortable in my own skin.
But okay, Daddy, do you, before you say something, do you take into consideration how to say it so
Not
that they
always.
would be comfortable?
Not always. You know.
Don't choke. Don't choke, Daddy. Don't choke.
Anyway, uh, now there are times I just say whatever comes to my mind. Now if you don't take it well, okay, that's what that is. But I think most people understand that I'm just talking. I don't mean no harm.
So, how do you get comfortable in your own skin?
I really don't know. I honestly don't know. Uh, Maybe it's part of understanding your self worth, understanding your skills. Um,
Oh, kind of dark.
it, Sometimes it's like a little bit of ego, but not enough ego that you're abrasive to others, but you are you don't have any problems. You're not wanting anything that you can't attain. One thing. Um, I know that there's some people who have very, very low self-esteem,
Yes, they do.
and they are not comfortable in their skin. They don't want to be who they are. And I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. You know.
So that's where I come in because I work with a lot of people with mindset and stress, as you know. So there are different things that can be done through affirmations, through meditation, through having a proper coach to help you transform that. You know, I haven't always had the highest self esteem. It wasn't super low because, you and Pal, oh, people don't know who Pal is. That's what I call my mama, Pal or Pally. You and Pal and everyone else in the family um, always let me know that I was loved and that I could do anything. So the seeds were planted. It was up to me to do things to help nurture that seed and help it grow. So I feel quite comfortable now, but I got quite a bit of gray to get to that point. And when you were talking about grandpa, it's really, well, he passed when I was what, 6? Yes, I was 6, right after I finished first grade. And just what I remember, like you said, he was very loving and giving. Some of the memories I have of him were when he would be cutting the yard with the riding mower, and I would be on his lap. And I think sometimes he let me steer, so who knows what the yard looked like. But I remember that.
Well, one thing I'll never forget. There was one period I was working state highway department, and I did not have a car. And I come in on Friday, and he throw me the keys to his car, and the tank would be full of gas. It was my car for the weekend. That was every weekend. Another time when I did have a car, mother made a mistake of giving him a gas credit card. And that was cool. And he go fill up my tank, right? Now, what would happen, I give him some of the money for the gas. He wouldn't give mama none of it. See?
What?
Yeah, that went on about 3, 4 months, and she finally cut that credit card off because that was a heck of a bill coming in because it was money for 2 cars. She didn't let us do that too long.
Right, right.
But but,
Understood.
but we did it for a while.
Bills got to be paid. I need to fix my light. Excuse me. I'm gonna open up the window, get some. Oh yes, let the light in. Okay, so the other question that I want to ask for you to share with our viewers is, and the replay. If you tune in via replay, make sure you put hashtag replay in the chat. Okay, so you and Pal divorced when I was 9. So what words of wisdom? You can't help it, Daddy, can you? Look at you. You couldn't help it.
Ain't nobody can see me but you, so I just.
No, everybody can see you.
Oh, okay. So I can. Okay. Never mind.
Lord Jesus. Just a few minutes, okay? So anyway, what words of wisdom, because you're gonna be 76 in September, so you've been around the block a few miles, okay? What words of wisdom would you offer to fathers who are separated from the mother of their child or children, as far as how to navigate all of that?
Make sure that you and the mother are friends. Don't have things so out of whack that there's hard feel. I mean, just real hard feelings there, because then those feelings will transfer to the children, right? It's like your other brother. He, his mama. I treat her nice, but she's always got something to say. And he finally had to tell her he didn't want to hear it out of her anymore about me.
Okay, you
because
do
he's
know we on
lying.
Facebook, so what? It doesn't matter. Whatever. Well, you being you, because you would say this to her face anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Go
Oh,
ahead.
absolutely. But
Okay, go ahead.
but anyhow, um, I've always tried to treat my kids straight up, and no matter what the circumstances are between me and the mother, I'm not going to start no stuff with the mother because that will transfer to the kids. Now, whatever the mother does, that's on her. You understand? But I'm going to be me with the kids and everybody else, matter of fact.
That is true. That's true for you. But let me ask you. So you said make sure that you are friends with the mother. What if it's difficult to be friends with the mother? I.e., maybe the mother isn't being so friendly towards the dad.
But then you just have to let that roll off your back. Let them, let anybody else be as ugly as they want to be, as long as you're not ugly back. You know, I've never been ugly with anybody. I think in my entire life, there was a fellow like 3 years ago. He made me so angry, which is something I normally don't do. But he made me so angry, I getting ready to jump on him, and I turned to walk away. And I decided that I don't want to have any discussions with that man anymore.
Right.
And I see him about once or twice a week, and I can walk right by him and not even acknowledge his existence. And that's the only person in my entire life I've ever had anything like that with, you know. But I just know that any dealings with him aren't going to be correct, you know. And it has a lot to do with the way I'm one that you stand up and just tell me a bold faced lie trying to excuse something you just did doesn't sit with me. Oh Lord, my screen done froze.
Oh man.
Well, that's all right.
Oh man.
Don't tell. Well, anyway, I just saw that. But anyhow, uh,
Should we log off and come back? What do you think?
just you starting to freak. You did a little skip a beat yourself just then.
I did. So
Yeah,
you can still see me. Well, let's just keep going because we're going to conclude soon anyway.
yeah, because at least they can hear me.
Yes, they can.
As long as it's frozen, I can do something I want to
Oh, Lord.
do. Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Okay, go ahead. What else you got?
Um, so another question that I have that I would like for you to share is for the I meet a lot of women, right? Of course, most of my clients are women. But when I meet a lot of women who, let's say they don't either A, don't have a good relationship um, with their dad, or they have a non-existent relationship. So our cousin Michael McClendon hopped on and said Happy Father's Day because
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
um, so what words of guidance would you offer a young woman, younger being younger than you? So that's a big range because you old, but younger than you, who dad was absent or the relationship was strained. What kind of words of guidance would you offer her entering into romantic relationships?
Oh, mercy. I don't know. I really don't know. Uh, a lot of that has to do with themselves. It doesn't have to do with the other individual. You know, the first thing I guess one want to do is decide what are you looking for in the other individual, you know. Uh, but don't put the sins of the father on your next relationship. You know, I know they've always said that some women go look for somebody like their dad or somebody exactly opposite from their dad. Sometimes it may be that they need to um, examine what was the real problem that they had between themselves and their dad. Was it something they did? Was it some outside force caused the problem? Something their dad did? You know, um, but don't let that be a detriment to them having a romantic relationship. You know what I mean? Uh, if that was the case, in my case, not from my dad, but from my mother, it would cause me to have all kinds of problems with women. If you know,
Yeah, she wasn't very nurturing at all
oh no, no, she
or
wasn't.
affectionate at all.
Not only that, she really wasn't nice. I mean, she was nice to the world. Let me put it that way.
That's true. A lot of people respected her in the
Right.
school system, in the church, in the community.
But to her brothers and sisters and to her children, she wasn't that nice. You know, she, she had some she had some real hang-ups. And I think my aunt her sister Aunt Betty, I remember one time I asked Betty, I was mad at mother and I called Aunt Betty. And I'm fussing. And Aunt Betty said she I needed to remember that mother's problems stem from she always looked for love out of her father and mother, but they had problems. You know, they gave love. She was looking for special love, but there were 9 children. Didn't have time to do anything special for just one. You know, so she was always looking for favors out of her father, and that caused her problems for the rest of her life.
And the thing that's so interesting, and this is for the parents that have multiple children, you have the same, children have the same mother and father, but their perspective on the exact situation, the exact same living conditions can be very different. Because to me, grandma acted different than the rest of her siblings.
Oh, she did.
Aunt Betty, Aunt Vi, all of them.
I mean, her sisters in particular were dynamite. Vi, Betty, and Milson. They, I loved them. Them, my 3 aunts, they were outstanding, and all 3 of them were nurturing.
Very nurturing.
I'm just wondering what would have happened if Betty had ever had children.
And that's another point. Last month was Mother's Day, and some people go through a lot of different emotions during Mother's Day because they don't physically have any children. And so Aunt Betty never had children. She never had any physical children, but she was like a mother figure to me,
She
you
was
know.
a mother figure to everybody because she knew how to treat. And I think Betty's thing was she never remember she didn't get married. She was in her 40s, I think, when she and Roy married.
And Uncle Roy was way older than her.
Yeah. Uh, but I think Betty's career and just the living, the way she was living, and prior to Roy, I had never heard of Betty having even a boyfriend.
Well, you probably wouldn't have heard because you were the nephew.
Yeah, but you hear the rumors. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't know. Betty was so into her career. She was doing her thing there. She might have had some little dalliances, but we just don't. You just don't know. I don't think. I think before Roy, she didn't find anybody that she really was that interested in. I believe.
And I get that, being that I'm gonna be 49 next month, and I've not been married before. I think it's important, like you said, to find somebody that you really connect with and not feel like,
But along that lines, you don't want to settle. Uh, I find a whole lot of people get married because they settle for something. Now I'm not saying that always works out, and then they act. Somebody acts a fool later on down the line. But um,
hey, Dwayne, your eldest is on. He said, Happy Father's Day, Daddy. Happy Father's Day, Dwayne. Love you.
yeah, Dwayne, I'm about to call you in a little while. I got to figure out about this hair. I got
Oh, you gonna have him cut your hair?
not him, Lord.
I'm about to say he don't have no hair.
I know, but he got a barber, and I
That's true.
I didn't even know whether his barber opened up or not.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Mine
Um,
ain't opened up.
so two last questions, and then we'll conclude for
Thank you.
the Father's Day edition. You said thank you. Like you don't talk, Daddy. You know how to talk. But anyway, um, the climate that we have, that we're in right now with race relations, is very different. And from a black father, I just want you to share your insight and perspective.
Be patient with white people.
What you mean by that?
When I say be patient, there are. I mean, in my lifetime, I've had a whole lot of white people. They're just absolutely jealous of the things I'm doing. You know, particularly, and mainly it's coworkers. It's not folks outside of that, but it's mainly with coworkers because they know right up front they don't stack up to you, and you have to be patient with them fools. You know, otherwise you drive yourself crazy worrying about them. And I've always just go ahead and do my thing and not worry about what the white folks think. As long as I'm getting what I'm supposed to out of the deal. You know, I think I've lost three different jobs because somebody was jealous. You know, I knew they were jealous ahead of time, and I just kept doing my thing. See, but that didn't mean that you always, you lose that one, you go pick up another one as good or better on down the line. Uh, as long as they don't try to physically do anything to you or yours, you have to be patient with it. Now,
And that's the thing that has ignited all of this, is that they have and do physical things to harm you and yours.
that's right. Uh, and see, these policemen, if you watch through the years, they know that they do something. In the past, they've always gotten away with it. Now, it may mean they can't go back to the same job. They may have to change forces, but they don't end up in jail, which don't make sense. But that's just the way it is. They're still basically under that slave mentality, right? And I think I was just listening to something here the other day. And the fellow was talking about, said police forces were set up. They actually came from, oh, the back in slave times, they had those guys that go out and chase down runaway slaves. They had a name.
Exactly.
They had, and that's where basically the police forces came from.
Exactly. So that energy and that mindset is still
Still,
present.
still, you know, I remember it was a couple of years ago. I was watching a video, and this white boy was going berserk. Now I can't remember if he had a weapon, but the policeman stood there and talked him down. And if he'd been black, he'd been dead. You know, just straight up say. And I think in this present climate, after that video of George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of white people who have woken up to that fact. You know, that image of that man with his hands in his pockets, with a knee on that neck, 3 more minutes, 3.5 more minutes after George passed out, after George was gone. I think that was a very powerful image, you know. Just like in the civil rights, when the Birmingham police released the dogs and those water cannons on women and children. And that video showed in the North. That's what propelled the civil rights movement, or really woke white folks, the more liberal white folks up to it. Now, there are always going to be those who think that's the right thing to do. But if you really look at them, majority of them, that those are people, if you think about it, they got low self-esteem. They don't think much of themselves. Okay. Uh, I have heard, even in trucking, I've heard some white boys talking. They're just happy that their boss gave them a job, and none of the blacks feel that way. Not happy you gave me a job, which means the boss can do anything. He can never do anything wrong. And that's that mentality that the more affluent whites have put into the poor whites to let them feel like they're above us. Say, uh, you know, there were a lot of companies for a long time, and trucking companies in particular, who would not hire black no matter what. Because they knew up front the black fellows aren't going to stand for the crap that the white boys put on, that they put on the white boys, you know. So they kept talking them white boys up and just taking them down the road, you know.
And that's a lack mindset.
Yeah.
That's a fixed mindset as opposed to a growth mindset and an abundant mindset.
That's right.
And for those who watch my lives, there was one I did a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about this planet is humongous, and there's so much land that is uncharted. There's no reason in the world that someone should feel like they are better than anyone else or oppress someone else to so-called dominate, because there's enough of everything. There's an abundance of everything here that everyone could not just survive but thrive.
Well, you know, here's the way I feel about
How you?
it. White folks still mad that we kicked them out of Africa.
What?
You remember, everything starts in Africa.
That's the mother. That's the beginning.
At the beginning for the entire human race.
Facts.
And then white folks got kicked up that cold area. They've been mad ever since.
Oh, Lordy B. All right, so the last question I'm going to ask. Oh, just for clarification, anyone that doesn't know, when my daddy refers to trucking, he drives a semi truck, an 18 wheeler. Are you the oldest person at your company?
Oh yeah, the insurance company just kicked me off the insurance because of my age.
And that's something, but he still passes the physical every year.
Yeah, but I went and got my own insurance, so they can't do nothing about it now.
Let me see. Cousin Cynthia said, yes, the image of the police with his knee on George Floyd's neck will be in our memory for years to come.
That's right.
That's the truth. So the last question that I want to ask is, when you hear the phrase Black Fathers Matter, what does that mean to you?
Well, let me tell you what it means to me more than anything else is about all them black fathers that don't take care of their kids, that don't have, have a relationship. And it's not the kids and the mother's fault. They just become trifling. So we're trying to push them up, but we got dudes now. It may be because of economics, but a lot of times the younger black fellows, they go out there and they're trying to, the only way they know to enjoy life is to have sex, but they're not willing to face up to the consequences. See, but when we have to say that black fathers matter, we shouldn't have to say that. Black fathers ought to matter to themselves. They need to step up to the plate. The heck with whatever anybody else says about them. But a lot of that I think is dealt with in economics. They don't know how to do. But sometimes it's because they've never been taught. They didn't have a father in up in front of them. Uh, so they don't have no idea how to be a father. All they knew is how to make babies. Damn shame, but that's the way it is.
I hear you, Daddy. And from a woman's perspective, who, you know, I I consider myself a little more elevated. You need to do more than just have money.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: if you don't have any money, you don't even know how to approach. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
A
they,
man makes the money doesn't make the man.
I know that, but if you ain't got none, you don't even know what to do. See,
Mm.
it thank God I've never been put in that position. I've been lucky on, you know, I'd say lucky all my life. Lord's looked after me, in that respect. Uh, but when you figure, I actually started my working career when I was 17 years old, and in that span of time, I can say I was basically unemployed for maybe 4 months total in all these years. And of the 4 months, I a lot of that was, even though I may have been fired from one job, sometimes I wasn't even looking for one. I could have worked during that 4 month span, but I decided to take me a break. And then when I decided to go to get a job, within a week or so, I had one. You know, so, but I look out here right now in today's uh, climate, the jobs that are available don't pay no money.
They don't. It's ridiculous.
And I mean, even if you've got some skill compared to, what is it like? I remember 1978. I was making like $1,900 a week total, and I was only showing taxes on $400 a week. I had $1,500 a week coming in tax free.
There's some people still don't make that
That's right.
amount in 2020.
That's right. And that's what I was making in 1978. See, so uh, these companies now, there was a time they tried to take care of their employee. They had the mindset of Henry Ford. He always made sure he paid his guys enough money so they could buy his products. But nowadays, the money in these companies is going to the stockholders,
I see
not
that
to
a
the
lot.
employees. And they're doing everything they can to make sure their stock price stays up. As long as their stock price stays up, the CEO keeps his job, everybody making money, but the people who are actually doing the work, no.
Yeah, you have to know the system and the rules of the system that you're in order to play the game. You can't just put the monopoly board out and think, hey, I'm getting ready to win this, and you don't know the rules to the game. Let's see. Cousin Cynthia said, Ted, you always had a strong work ethic and had money in your pocket. Yes, indeed, Cousin Cynthia. Um, so thank you, Daddy, for coming on and sharing with us. You've never been live before. I'm so sorry that the screen froze up
Oh, it
midway.
don't bother me because I can smoke a cigarette without you Negroes seeing it.
You weren't gonna be on here that long that you could have smoked afterwards, but whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Um, so thank you for coming. Oh, one last thing. So, Daddy, um, how do you like being my daddy?
It's a challenge.
What you mean?
See, like I've always told, don't ask no question that you don't want to hear the answer.
And I say that to people too. What do you mean? Why do you say that?
Oh, it's really not a challenge. It's
It's
because
fooling.
half time I'll pay attention to you. Sometimes you talking and I don't even listen.
You know you're not even telling the truth, Daddy.
Well, I listen, half listen, because most of the time I got something else going on at the same time. We're talking on the phone. I'm watching television at the same time. You know, I hear what you're saying. I just, you know, you are a challenge.
Why do you say that?
Oh, forever I've always told young men that you remember when I first met that fella in New York. Uh, when we came out of
You and Pal came
what
for
was
a
he
weekend.
raising in the sun when we
Yeah,
came
but
out of the
he
theater.
didn't go to the play. Joseph went to the play. Adrian popped on. She said, Uncle Ted is hilarious.
Anyway, when you introduced me to the fella, I remember I told him I feel sorry for you.
Why did you say that?
He got a fool. He got a fool with you.
You know what? Bless his heart. He wasn't ready.
Well,
And
that's true.
he was 13 years older than me and he wasn't ready. I'm not gonna say any names on here, we're gonna protect people's privacy and
I don't
whatnot.
remember his name because
I remember his name.
I don't.
But I mean you have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to have a plan. You can't. Mm-mm. And the reason that's because of you. That's because of you. That's because of Grandpa. That's because of Pawpaw. That's because of Uncle Rick. That's because of Uncle Emmett. That's because of all of y'all. That
I understand.
you know.
And you talking about it? Well, boy, I almost said it.
Don't say no names.
No, I ain't gonna say no names. I was getting ready to say what that them folks was real, and I was gonna use that word you told me I couldn't use today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I almost said it too.
Oh, I'm glad you caught yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, great job. Good job, Daddy.
All righty.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us live and via replay. I really appreciate you sharing this time with me and my daddy on Father's Day. And oh, I forgot one question I think is so very important because I deal with the super wonder women. That's why I named the book after them, right? For them. What guidance would you give women on how to truly love and support a black man? And then
Oh,
we're going to
Lord
end
have
with that.
mercy.
Oh, I'm going to ask it.
Don't be thirsty.
What
Oh, Lord have mercy. I've seen all these thirsty gals out there. Uh, I don't know even what the women are looking for in a black man. You know what I'm saying? What and we really don't have to put race in there, but since we did, it was just like I met these four women in the Bahamas last fall. They all let me know right up front they were all widows, and they were grinning and blinking. One of them, I think they, I guess they discussed me for 2 days before they finally approached me.
what?
And then when they did, one of them, they finally came to and said, "How old are you?" And I told them how old I was, and one of them just said, "Oh, you all good looking for 75." And I said, "Lord Jesus, you old gal." They were thirsty as they could be. Scared me to death.
You talking about scared you to death. Well, that's well, what about if two people are already in a relationship? You
Have a
just spoke
lot.
on somebody who wants to be with a man, trying to get a black man. But what if you're already in the relationship?
Number one, communicate. I mean, don't hide things from each other, even if you think it might hurt the other's feelings for a minute. Be able to say it in such a way, communicate in such a way that it doesn't cut deep. You know what I mean? Uh, but the communication is the real key. Um, to give you an example, like your mother, we were living in that little apartment up on Canary Lane. And I'm in the bedroom and I see a long blonde hair on the floor. And I say something about it. And I guess she been seeing them for 5 months and thinking I'm bringing white women into the apartment. And it never said nothing about it until I mentioned the long blonde hair. I said, and I wasn't up to nothing. Not right then, anyhow. Actually, I never did do that. Yeah. There's some things you got to have respect for each other. You know what I'm saying? But
Cousin Cynthia said, Ted, it was so good to hear your voice. Don't be thirsty. Is that appearing too needy? That's what she wants to know.
that's that's one of them.
And Joseph said, Happy Father's Day, Mr. Clay. He's in the train station. He has to work on. Oh, bro, so you went back to working in real time, not remotely? He's in New York.
Yeah.
And my friend, Dr. Kendra said, Happy Father's Day.
Tell her hi.
She hears you.
Okay. Well, see, remember when I can't see everybody. Well, you can't see me, but you know.
Right. I know you've never been live before. This is new for you. So, but it's okay. It's okay.
Like I said, I'm glad my screen froze.
I'm so mad about that. We
And
were
I
rolling well for a minute and then boom. So you might have to get another computer. 4th of July, don't they usually have sales? You should probably look at Best Buy.
uh, well, we'll see.
But you know what, Daddy? Let me tell you something that I learned.
What's that?
I would go ahead and get another laptop as a backup because what you don't want to happen is your laptop act up and then you up the creek.
That's true.
Oh, you just came from Brooklyn, Joseph? Okay. Look at you out in the streets. You got your mask on, bruh. 6 feet, social distancing. So that happened to me. And I was only one day without a laptop because I had a feeling. So I went ahead and ordered one and it was on the way. And then my existing one conked out.
Well, I've had several years ago. I had a laptop and it crashed on me, and I didn't have one for 2 weeks.
Well, I can't do that because I have a business that depends
Well,
on the
one thing
laptop.
about it, there's some things I can just do on my phone, but I
You
just
don't
don't.
really like doing stuff, that much stuff on your phone because you old.
Well, if my laptop's not working, no, like I've come in here, my Wi-Fi wasn't working, and I had to fire up the phone in order to do some things here at the house. There's a lot of things I need to put Norton on my phone. If I had Norton on my phone, I might do more on my phone.
All right, we have a question. So, the question from Dr. Candris is, what are the top 3 things you taught Michelle that you think contributed to her success?
Oh Lord, I have no idea.
What?
I got no idea. If nothing else, leading by example. That's all. That's the best I can say. Leading by example, and then whenever she solicits my advice, giving advice when she solicits it. Sometimes giving advice when she don't solicit it.
Ain't that the truth? So, once I found that out, there was sometimes I just wasn't going to say anything.
I know.
Hey, Andrea, she said, yes, I know you love your daddy.
Yeah.
um, and this is one thing that I will say, and this is for all the daughters out there that as your daddy ages, they start mellowing out because I don't know if you can tell, even though his screen froze, but my daddy can be a trip. But Daddy, I can definitely tell that you have mellowed out because you used to be a little bit more high strung.
Maybe that's when I was drinking.
Well, you did stop drinking when you found out you had diabetes.
Yeah. 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 I did.
Um, but no, even when you stop drinking, it's just your personality. Like you said, you tell it how it is, and someone has to be comfortable with themselves to take it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I have found that you have mellowed out a lot because there
Oh,
was a
she don't.
lot of things that I did not tell you because I was like, Lord, he gonna have my nerves bad. Um, oh, see, we got questions now. I was like, oh, he gonna make my nerves bad. Um, Going off and carrying on, he gonna be too high strung. But I have found that you have really chilled out. I mean, you still you, but I guess that gray with that wisdom kicked in. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Maybe.
Even Uncle Rick noticed it, and he said something about it. So,
Really?
one what?
Rick noticed it.
Yeah, he told me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks, Andrea. I hate to tell him, but I'll tell him. She said you're handsome. My
I
friend
know
Andrea
that.
said you're handsome.
Oh Lord. Hey, wait a minute. I even shaved to be cute.
Y'all
Shoot.
know we are Clay's. Last name Clay.
Well,
Just think about Cassius Clay. He always said, I'm pretty, so
yeah,
that's what Clay's, that's how we are. No, but so Andrea want to know, she said, I'd like to hear more about the trip that we took together when we went to the Bahamas.
oh, that was a trip. Michelle
What you
enjoyed
do?
herself. I was trying to be down there and be very calm and peaceful. I still stay calm and peaceful.
What you talking
Relax.
about like I came down there turning it out or something?
Well, no, you didn't turn it out.
No, I didn't.
But you came down there and did what you had to do, and I just mind my own business.
Um, so another question, what do you miss about your 40s?
What do I miss about my 40s?
Yeah, Dr. Candace wants to know, what do you miss about your 40s?
Oh, I had a good time in my 40s. I was single. A woman told me I was a commodity during that time frame. Oh, it was. No, I don't miss nothing about my 40s because it make you tired. Lord Jesus.
Y'all see what I go through? Y'all see? So this is what I'm saying. Y'all hear me talk about my daddy and I say I'm Ted Clay's daughter. So now you see. Now you see.
Hmm.
She said, "Wow, commodity."
Yeah, she came straight up and told me. She said, I, I was of the right age. I was single. I wasn't gay. And I didn't have no hangups. So I was a commodity. I said, okay. And then women treated me like I was a commodity. I trying to mind my own business.
Oh dear God, Lordy be. Well, do y'all have any? She said right up in right age. Oh my goodness gracious, that's funny. So, Daddy, this has been fun. Um, so everybody, would you like to see him come back sometime for Talk
Wait,
with Ted?
wait a minute. This don't. Up there trying to make some plans for me. I, I, you don't have me at, make me mumble.
You saying you would not want to come back sometime, Daddy?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Whatever.
Y'all, if y'all wanna, they said, love it, Talk with Ted. Please come back, Mr. Clay.
Lord Jesus.
Y'all, he'll come back. If I ask him, he'll do it. I have to give him some time and some space, though. You know, we have to let it marinate. To
Yeah.
let it marinate a little bit.
Now y'all gonna make me. I got to go buy my plane tickets. I'm
Oh
gonna do
yeah, buy your plane ticket
it. I'm gonna do
before
it.
they go up,
Yep.
and get it before June 30th. Because I was reading, if you get your ticket before June 30th, then you still have the option to change if necessary.
Right.
So maybe you should look into that today.
Well, I've already looked at them. I know what it costs. There's a
Okay.
$30 difference if I leave 1 hour earlier, which I ain't figured out yet.
So are you gonna get the ticket today?
Yeah, more than likely.
If not, I'll check in and remind you. But I usually don't have to remind you about things like that.
No, I'll take care of it.
Okay, cool. All right, Daddy. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining. This is
Oh,
Dr. What, Daddy?
you had a little glitch. I thought you were gonna freeze.
I'm here. You're not here. You're
No,
frozen.
no. Your screen gave you a little frozen thing for about half second.
But I'm back.
Oh,
Um, so Everyone, thank you for joining us today on this very special Father's Day edition with Dr. Michelle Clay. You know who I am. I'm Dr. Michelle Clay, your physician and certified holistic health counselor and clinical nutritionist who helps you, especially my super wonder women who are feeling stressed out, overwhelmed. I help you release your stress simply and naturally through my best-selling books, coaching programs, and stress care products so that you can live your free life on purpose and with passion. And the other thing I am that I usually don't say, but is very important because without that, I wouldn't be here, is I am Ted Clay's daughter.
Lord Jesus.
Oh, shoot, we got another question. What advice can you give young brothers on being successful fathers given today's racial climate?
Should have no bearing on you being a father. The racial climate is you're letting exterior forces put pressure on your relationship with your children. And that's something you can't do. That relationship is sacrosanct. Nothing from outside should have any bearing on it whatsoever. You know, if nothing else, you want to protect them from the outside forces, but it should not be a detriment to you being a father.
How I see it is if we black in America, I mean, we've been dealing with
Yeah,
racism and oppression since we were involuntarily brought to these shores. Um, so the thing that I see the most, and I'm gonna say this, I'm just gonna put it out there, y'all. You can take it, you know what? You might have to take it like castor oil. Look, we know that racism exists. We know that. And we know, like my daddy said earlier, that what he has found is that some who are jealous when it comes down to the economics, if they think you have more than they do, then there's a lot of problems. Um, but I have found that one of the biggest hindrance to a black man being a father to his children is the mother if she's not well. I have, and then here's where you need to take it with your castor oil, like castor oil. I have absolutely no respect for a black woman who's gonna call the police on a black man with some made up charges because you trying to have control over the child or children.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely no respect. And if you are one of those people, how dare you say Black Lives Matter when you acting like the black life that helped you make a life does not matter.
Yeah.
Get some help, sis. Get
That's,
some.
yeah. Mm.
So sometimes
Okay.
you gotta take it like castor oil. But that's a completely different conversation. But that question came up, so I want to, honor the question. So, thank you, everyone. Daddy, you want to say bye or anything to the?
Bye.
Oh, that's all you want to say is bye.
All I'm gonna say is bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Everyone, be well to yourself, and have a positive rest of your evening. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Now, how do I get up off of this?
I really got problems because I can close my program. Okay.
Okay, let me just put